Hello, America! Hell yeah. I mean, world out there. Globally. We're global. It's the interwebs. Matt Rappaport, this is Hangout Conversations. Still don't have a theme song. All I have is Rappa. Hangout Conversations. Katie Sevigny made me one a little bit earlier, and Lizzie Spit made a funny song. Two singers on this Google+. So it's 2013. I actually have a guest. I'm back. This is year number 2. I guess season number 2. How's your New Year's going? Mine is going pretty well. I have a little bit the remains of the food porn. There's some mashed potatoes. That's exciting. I have a special guest tonight, but before we get into her, and I will introduce her, and once I introduce her, she'll be able to unmute herself, but right now she's stuck in unmutable land, which is one of the powers of the hosts of Hangout Conversations. Yeah, no, she's typing to me like, I'm stuck in this white box and I can't get out. Help! If she wants to reshare and let people know what's going on while she's muted, that would be awesome. But Angie's coming up, Angie Person of interest, I call her. So, Google+, what's new? Communities, not totally new, but they are the big thing that people talk about. There's a new feature now that you can change it so the community posts do not appear on your profile, so you can uncheck that mark, and then all the community posts that will not be there for people to see and clutter your profile because everyone's coming to see your profile or whatever. So are you using communities? There's been a lot of conversation about it. People talking about how useful shared circles still are. I think they are, versus the communities in general. People using communities, finding common people that not the common. They're not common folk like poor. Like they have common passions. You know what I'm talking about? Like Star Wars or clowns or bacon. I don't know. Anyway. So I don't know, tell, if you're watching, which you should be, I know you are, I know who you are, comment below, tell me what you think of communities. Are you using communities? Do you prefer the NBC show Community? Is that better? Let me know. But my guest tonight is someone that lives in the Sin City, Las Vegas. I got to hurl with her. I met her last month. It was epic. She's an amazing person. She's a lot of fun. She does work in the gaming industry, which a lot of people don't know, or maybe they do, I don't know. And she is amazing. She's a lot of fun. She's funny. She's got a lot of jokes. She loves Doctor Who. She loves her Rappa and her Jane Ellen. And she was the first person to serve me wine from ice cream, or the other way around. I don't know. Her name is Angie Person. Welcome to Hangout Conversations. Angie, you just have to unmute yourself if you want to talk to me.
I really don't want to talk to you, Rappa.
Oh! How are you? Thanks for coming on my show.
No problem. You know I love you, man.
I love you too. So yeah, so everyone's watching the show. Like when I first started the show, I wanted everybody. They didn't necessarily have to be, you know, famous, but you're famous to me. And no, I like, you know, I wanted people that are using Google Plus and Hangouts. Sometimes I'd get someone that like a band or something that didn't use Google Plus yet, so I was like trying to bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, I always find this is more interesting in a way and more fun because I get to talk to someone that you hang. In fact, it's probably in the last 2 months, like in the first couple months, probably no way that you hang out more than me. But now,
no,
it's fair to say that you probably do hang out more than me, just because I've been all over the place. But
well, you've been busy. Yeah, you've been tied up.
I've been well, bound chicken.
Literally and figuratively. At the rodeo.
Rodeo. So you are in Las Vegas, and
I am.
But you didn't grow up in Las Vegas.
No, I didn't. I grew up in Dallas.
Right, which is so. Was when you moved to Vegas, was it sort of like a culture shock from Dallas, or?
No, actually, when I first moved to Vegas, it was it was about 20 years ago, and Vegas was actually a really very small town, and the mentality of the people that lived here was that Vegas is a really small town, and we're all over here. And the casinos are over here, and those are totally detached from our life. And we don't really deal with the casinos because they're all on the Strip. And as Vegas started to grow, we started to see things like gas stations that have slot machines, Denny's that have slot machines, casinos that are totally focused only on locals that pop up in residential
neighborhoods. Now, when you say they have Denny's, would Denny's have slot machines? Can you sit at the slot machine and they serve your whole meal?
No.
Okay, because that they won't do.
No.
Damn you, Denny's!
They would have a couple of slot machines in the foyer area, so that you could play slots while you were waiting to be seated. And yeah, so that's pretty much become the norm here. Is while the restaurants have pretty much done away with the slot machines, but the grocery stores have embraced them. And not only do they have slot machines, they've actually made little slot rooms that are sort of separated from the grocery store and yet still attached, where people who have just purchased their groceries can go and throw their change in and play the slot machines.
Yeah. So do you have a preferred? I mean, I know you're into slots yourself. You do occasionally like to
Yes,
play the slot
occasionally.
machine.
I
Do
do.
you? And so there is, like you said, there's this myth, that Las Vegas is literally like, oh, it's the Strip, and there's Old Vegas, which a lot of people don't even know about Fremont Street. They think we
Yeah,
land in the
very
airport,
true.
we go right next door, that's
Yep.
Las Vegas, and then there's a couple of houses and stuff spread around, but most people don't know about all
Hmm.
of Vegas. And me and Jane Ellen, we were just there for most of December, had a great time, and we tried to get most of what we could of Las Vegas, not just the Strip. We tried to get
Yeah.
everywhere, and we still
Well,
couldn't get everything, but we tried.
and you and I went out to
Red
Red
Rock,
Rock Canyon.
which is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous, and especially with the waterfall being frozen and stuff, that was pretty spectacular. But
That
yeah, I
was
even
my
had
imitation of a frozen waterfall.
okay. But yeah, I mean, even I've been down on the Strip and interacting with tourists, and I'm not even kidding, Rappa had a tourist tell me that she thought that everyone that worked in Vegas commuted in from LA and that nobody actually lived here.
Oh, well, I think maybe that's like I mean, there are a lot of people that do commute back and forth, and there are people that fly in back and forth, and that, which would still be a commute, but that would be a rich person's commute. But
Yes.
yeah, so it makes sense, and some of the strippers might do that, and some other business people, but
I'm pretty sure none of the strippers do that. They all live here.
wait, whoa. I'm not saying that I was at a strip club, but there was some guy I know was at a strip club. Okay, it was me. And the stripper said, this was like bachelor party, not this
Mhm.
time, said to me that she comes in and works like Thursday to Sunday or Monday or whatever, and she's from Los Angeles.
Well, that
So,
makes sense. That makes sense. There's a lot of money to be had here, and if you're going to be working in a strip club, I would think that you would make, because I've worked in strip clubs as a bartender, not as a stripper, but from my general experience, I would think that you would make a hell of a lot more money in a
although
Vegas strip club than you would in an LA strip club.
I think you're lying. I think you were a stripper.
No, I
If Jane
wasn't.
Ellen was here, she'd tell us about her stripper cop days. But
No.
so, all right, so you moved from Dallas to Las Vegas, and do you prefer Vegas over Dallas? Is it you?
Well, quite frankly, what happened when I was younger was I pretty much did bartending, and that allowed me to move around to wherever I wanted to be. And I was very mobile, and I've lived in a ton of states all over the United States, and I was always able to find a job. And then I landed in Las Vegas because a friend of mine sort of had a mini emergency and needed me to come help. And she ended up moving back to California. And so now I've been in Las Vegas longer than I even was in Texas. I've been here
Wow.
longer than I've been anywhere. Vegas has been very good to me.
Yeah. And interesting enough, not that you two cities both ending in AS. Is that something you've been aware of? Okay. It's like
Yes,
and
I did it
as
that way on purpose,
you're
Rapid.
like, I lived in two cities that end in as.
I did it on purpose.
On purpose. So, tell us a little bit about what you do. I know that you do some IT work in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't necessarily know that. Reveal whatever you'd like about that, and I find it fascinating what you do.
Oh, I'm the general manager of a sports betting company. And when I say sports betting, a lot of people, I actually, because I'm in the industry, I guess, I find it confusing when people are like, I don't know what that means. But essentially, my primary business is people that make wagers on sporting events. So, like, we have the Super Bowl coming up. I have to travel out of the country here in a couple days because I need to be at some locations where the Super Bowl is happening, and because our product is unique, it's
Hmm.
a self-service wagering terminal. So a traditional
kiosk.
sportsbook, yeah, a kiosk. A traditional sportsbook is a person called a sportsbook writer that sits behind a computer, and you walk up to them and you tell them what you want to bet and they write the ticket for you.
Mm.
My product is a self-service terminal that's kind of like an ATM where you walk up and you make your own bet.
And you deposit your money or your credit card.
Yep. You put your money in and you get your ticket.
Can you imagine if there was people made bets on like what happened in Hangouts? That would be pretty funny.
You know, it's so funny because we kind of have some freedom. We because we work in international locations, we can book some of the bets that Vegas books are not allowed to bet or allowed to put on the board, like who's going to win Dancing with the Stars, or
me. I think I'm pretty close.
I would put my money on you. So, you know, we have a lot of latitude to be able to book bets that you wouldn't be able to book here in the States, because every single location that I have is either, I only have to follow the laws of the jurisdiction where the kiosk is located. Do
you have any opinion on sports betting being legal? Do you whether it should be legal or not in this country, or no?
I do. I feel that because right now sports betting really is only legal in Las Vegas, and they're starting to legalize a lot of it on the East Coast, but the laws are kind of convoluted. Like, you can do horse racing, and you can
lottery,
and you can do football, but you can only do football if it's a parlay. You can't do if it's a straight bet. And I totally understand some of that, because you know, the majority of professional sports teams are owned by Americans, and so you don't want to go down that road where you have a lot of corruption.
Right.
And
but why be allowed in Las Vegas versus, I mean, what, I'm just saying, why? It's just like any other thing, any of these other laws, whether it's marijuana or you're talking about, you know, even same-sex marriages. I mean, the fact is like, it's weird that each state has their own thing. You know, it's weird. This is one country. I don't know. I mean,
that's true, but I mean, you look at the marijuana laws, and there's, you know, individual states are allowed to set their own, like just like Colorado and Washington State.
Although technically, federally, it's still illegal, right?
Federally, it's still illegal. They can still come in and bust you. And quite frankly, the reason that sports betting is probably legal in Vegas, I'm guessing, is because back in the day there was some corrupt politician that took some money from some mobsters, you know?
Bada bing.
Yeah.
Bada boom. So do you think it was literally, that's the story, literally Bugsy Siegel was standing in the middle of the desert, he's like, right here! And they're like, all right! And next thing you know, they're building the Flamingo, and then that's Vegas, baby. That's how it happened. So what, I mean, so there was downtown Vegas, which a lot of people, Fremont Street, where the Nugget is, and Binion.
That is the biggest LED screen in the entire universe.
And that's, how old is that screen? Is it new? I mean, it's newer.
It's not that old. Fremont Street actually was a real problem for us. Fremont Street downtown was just a collection place for all of the homeless people, and there was
Michael Jackson impersonators with the bad
and the Michael Jackson. No, that never used to happen. That never used to happen. There never were impersonators down on the Strip. The Strip really was, you know, just a pit. It was.
No, don't freeze.
This idea.
Hang on, conversations.
What's that?
You're getting a little frozen, or one of us was. So.
Oh, sorry.
You said that the Fremont Street was a pit.
It was a pit, and the city came in with this idea, and they said, let's revamp it. And technically, it's considered a city park under the law. And
wait, downtown is considered, the whole downtown is a city park?
That's technically what it's considered, a city park.
Do you actually have a city park with trees and stuff that happen?
Yes, we have parks.
Oh, okay.
We have Divorce Park, which is actually quite interesting. It was. We have a pretty amazing park that is in the northwest part of Vegas that was created by Howard Hughes, and it was created by Howard Hughes to allow people from Hollywood to come fulfill their residential requirements in order to get a divorce.
Interesting. That is interesting. Another freeze frame. What?
And stuff, so that people could move there and live there for 6 months, because back in the day you had to be a Las Vegas resident for 6 months in order to get a divorce.
Interesting.
And so now that's also a public park.
Wow. And so Vegas is known for people to elope and get married, but
Sure.
it's also a place for people to get a quickie divorce.
Yeah, back in the 50s, Howard Hughes, created this whole huge, complex for people to be able to come stay and live out their residency requirements in bungalows in order to get a divorce. Yeah.
Wow. So do you have a preference over Fremont Street to the Strip, or they're all the same to you?
No, personally, I prefer Fremont Street because it's more of a street carnival
Mhm.
atmosphere. The Strip is fun, as you know. We had fun down on the Strip, but
Fun everywhere. And it's funny that it's called the Strip because it's next to the airport, which it has landing strips too. So, freeze frame again. You're watching Hangout Conversations. Matt Rappaport, Angie Person, of interest. She has frozen. I see everyone watching. Robert Kuhn, Amber Vanderpool, John Reisdorf. She is an awesome guest, and we also have Ben Zayitz. I can't say his name. Is that it? I know you, Ben. Molly Torres, and everyone else watching. We appreciate it. And Angie hopefully will unfreeze shortly. But yeah, Las Vegas was a lot of fun. We were there for the Cowboy Fan Fest and Christmas, if you don't know, which was part of the rodeo, one of the biggest events, or the biggest event in Las Vegas during the year. CES just happened, and NASCAR is pretty big, but this one seems to be the biggest, and it was a good time. I am froze on me. Which happens. She's gone. She has disappeared. So thanks for tuning in. Hangout Conversations. We have a lot of guests next week. Look for Daniel Fontaine will be here, and I'm hoping to also have singer Heather Faye join us, which will be a lot of fun, and a lot more guests coming up in the future. Check out some of the past shows. Hangout Conversations, YouTube.com/Hangout Conversations. More up to date than HangoutConversations.com. Again, that has plenty on it to check out. Like I mentioned, the promos that I used to do. I mentioned to Angie, I used to do these promos, and all week I'd work really hard and make the promo and make everything happen. But it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it does take some of the fun out of it. And I like fun, and that's what social's about. That's what we're doing here. We're having a good time. So hopefully Angie will be joining us soon. And then after the show, we'll do Conversations Plus, where hopefully we'll have people jump in as well. I'm going to refresh right here. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Matthew Rappaport, I know you have to decide between the Matt and the Matthew. I haven't totally decided that just yet. But is she back? Angie is back from outer space. Good timing. You're muted though. Unmute yourself. Cannot hear you. I don't hear any sound. You're like, I'm not muted. Now I hear you.
I unplugged something, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry about that, my internet.
Yeah, that's one thing that they didn't get right, the internet in the desert. Yeah, the internet, that's a lot of people, and people that were out there for New Media and CS and all these things will probably say, will let you know that the internet, you would think that there would be Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. The weird thing is, a lot of these hotels will have free Wi-Fi in Starbucks or downstairs in the lobby, but then they want you to pay in the room, which is weird because the people downstairs aren't paying, but you're paying for the room. You know, it's all this weird.
And in the convention center too, as you know,
and it's kind of crappy, yeah.
Yeah, in the convention center too, and they charge exorbitant fees.
Yeah, the Smart City basically owns the rights to set up the internet there, and me and Jane broadcast using our hotspot, which is not only cheaper but way faster, and we're the only ones using it. So that's the way to go. That's the Smart City right there.
Yeah, because I go to the Global Gaming Convention every year, and we have a booth sometimes, and the internet that they wanted you to pay ridiculous amounts of money for was crap, and I just used my Android hotspot, and it was so much better. So that's what it is.
So downtown Fremont Street, you said you like it a lot, party
Yep.
atmosphere and all that. Um,
And it's not just that, like I said, it's more kid friendly. So even if you have small kids, because there's the live music and there's the vendors and there's the stuff, and you can pretty much stay away from most of the drunk people are just jolly. But I mean, it's pretty easy to avoid.
or they're on a rampage, as Brenda Curtis told us about her rampages.
Yeah, you can avoid, people
Really
like
awesome.
that. And so it's just it's a better to me it's a better all around
Right.
experience, and everybody is super friendly and they really want to engage with you and talk to you and things like that. And on the strip, it's kind of more avoid eye contact and don't talk to people and kind of thing. So
Yeah,
that's just my
I don't
personal.
know. Well, I only got down to Fremont Street once with Jane, and I mean, on New Year's, I'm sure the strip is packed, but
Oh yeah,
in general, it feels like Fremont Street is always like a crowd of people, whereas on the strip you could walk and not walk into a crowd of people because everyone's in
yeah,
the hotel. They'll be
yeah.
walking outside. Although a couple of years ago, they had the people with the strip. That's a weird thing too. Is that 3 years ago? I guess because I was staying at Treasure Island, every day it was like stripper card, stripper card, stripper card, and then this time we were staying on the other side, and even when we walked to the strip, I didn't see one besides the trucks that drove by. So
Yeah.
none of that. Did they get rid of those people?
They
Or
no, they changed a law is what happened here. They drafted a law that said that anybody that's handing out those cards or those flyers has to maintain cleanliness within X number of feet of where they stand. So, because typically what happens is you hand that or they hand that to someone and then that person immediately just drops it on the sidewalk. And so there was a lot of garbage. And so they passed a law, and there may have been another law. I don't know. Curtis probably knows better than I do. But I do know that after they passed this law where the person has to keep the area 50 feet around them clean,
yeah.
there have been way fewer of those
Mm.
people.
Interesting. That's the one thing that I don't. In the strip clubs, I think they're like one of the few places in Vegas that don't really have slot machines for the most part, right?
Um, Gosh, I can't remember because I've been to several strip clubs and I've taken clients to strip clubs, but
Right.
I have not gone to check out their gaming, so I don't know.
Well, you wanted to see who got game, but yeah.
Yes, you got games. They
So
might have had bar tops, but I honestly don't know because when I go to a strip club, it's to either entertain a client or to hang out with people, and I don't sit at the bar. I sit somewhere else.
you don't sit at the bar and they don't put bread in your jar. I got it. But man, what are you doing here? So we got to do a lot of cool things. You took us to the Hash House at Go-Go, which was
Hash House a
awesome.
Go-Go was awesome, and the
Huge
BLT
platters. The BLT Bloody
Bloody
Mary.
Mary, that was pretty epic.
Stacey Frazier made her own Bloody Mary last night. She calls it a Dirty Mary, and she made it
I
like really
saw
good.
that.
See that? I was
I
on that. It was a lot of
I
fun.
know. I was so mad because like I knew Larry, I
Mhm.
knew everybody in that, and I was like, I watched it, and I was kind of like, man, this sucks not being able to interact with these guys because I
Uh,
love all of them.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Then and I've been meaning to do some cooking shows there. We did cooking way back in 2011. Ermino Mir, who I haven't, she went MIA, but we did she cooked salmon and made sangria and candy apples. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. But yeah, there's been an explosion. Let's stop. I mean, I could talk about Vegas all day, but like Google Plus and rule number 34, right? Don't talk about Google Plus on Google Plus. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many hangouts on airs about different things, about cooking and tech and whatever we do here and lots of other things.
A
So,
lot of artists, a
lot of artists.
lot of artists.
Paul Rustan's body painting and a lot of
Yep.
people sketching. So as
Ashley Nathan's.
oh, Ash is great.
Yeah.
Scribble Grab, check him out.
Scribblegraph, yeah.
And in fact, they've all been on the show. They've all been guests on the show. I try to bring them in and get them on.
I know you do. You're awesome.
I gotta revisit. I want to do something called Hangout Conversations Revisited, where I bring the guests back and then we see what's up with them. And then hopefully they don't come back and go, yeah, I'm kind of drawing and I'm on Google Plus like I was last time. My mustache is bigger.
You should edit and do a best of
I
for
want to.
for next January, for next New Year's.
Yeah, I was gonna try to do that for the 1 year anniversary, which is in September.
Yeah.
I did make like a music mashup, but yeah, just there's so much footage of the shows, and we do PLUStainment show, and we got Vegas, and I even had footage of me shaving my beard off. I haven't edited yet
Yeah.
from the end of November, which was already 2 months ago. So
Yep.
it's just the amount of
A
time.
lot of work, baby. It's a
Yeah,
lot of work.
a lot of work, and sometimes
Yeah.
you do all that work for a post, and maybe get interaction, or maybe don't, and then you're like, oh, then it goes out there, and then it just lives out there on the internet. So
Yeah.
just like even a movie, I made a movie. 3 years, I made it. It's now after a couple of film festivals. Yoko Shimono, by the way, if you want to check it out, Yoko Shimono. I put it up there, and it's living up there. And now it's out there. I'm like, all right. Once in a while, I'm like, hey, you want to see a movie about a mime and a therapist that do not have sex? Much, really? They're like, I'm kind of in your box, but not really. This show is rated G for good. So, oh no, don't freeze again. Okay. So, tell me a little bit about, you hang out a decent amount. Tell me about your life now with Google Plus and with Hangouts, and how it's become more integrated in your overall daily life.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I'm like a lot of people. I think I'm like most people. I found my niche on Google Plus, and I found the people that
Like
click
Secret
with
Santa.
me, like secrets, the people that click with me, and I know there's a huge. It actually really blows me away how big the ecosystem of Google Plus is, because there are so many people that I mean, that I don't connect with, that are huge sharers and huge, and I pretty much try to stay logged into Google Plus all the time. Unfortunately, I have a job, and that makes me not be able to be available for Google Plus. But I think you just find your niche, and you find your group of people. It's like freaking high school, You find your group of people that you connect with, and you interact with them. And I'm very fortunate, very, very fortunate to have a huge, huge, huge number of people that are extremely interactive, extremely willing to comment on things,
Yeah.
extremely plugged in. And
part of that too, Angie, is that you've made real friendships, real relationships
yes.
with people. And so
Yep.
whether you have 10,000 or a million, it's the group of people that you've connected with, that you've shared hangouts with, that you've been on
Yep.
each other's posts, that you can do joking around, and so you're having conversations. Like
Yep.
you're not thinking, oh, I'm gonna make an amazing post or an amazing comment. You just kind of like go to it, and it is what it is, and you have fun. Where you're not thinking,
Yep.
oh my God, I gotta use do share and make sure all those hours I'm sleeping. Like, I mean, when I'm I do sleep, and I know people don't believe me, but I don't have the do share.
You don't
going.
sleep, you liar.
I'm a liar. That's why I'm always on the antibiotics, because I don't sleep enough.
But I mean, that's kind of it. It's like, if you want to be successful, and so many people have said this, and this is so true. Facebook is a place where you go to connect with old high school chums and people that you know in real life. Google Plus is a place where you go to meet new people and interact with new people. And fortunately, I did used to be agoraphobic, but I'm not anymore. I overcame it. Woohoo for me. And every time somebody's here, I'm like, let's go. I'll come meet you. Let's go. I'll come take you someplace. Let's go. I'll come, let's hang out. Let's meet each other in real life. And fortunately for me, Hangouts, like with you and Jane Ellen, I knew you guys already. I already knew you guys.
It wasn't, exactly. When we met, we hugged, we high, and it was not, I mean, it's like being on the phone with someone, even more so. You can see them, and you don't even, it's like when the internet was coming out and people were doing the whole, like, meetup, and there was no video chatting, and none of this. People were like, oh, I'm kind of wearing, like, a red coat, and I'm over here, and I'm, there's none of that.
And it's not just that. It's people are very different if you're only interacting with them on a textual-based medium.
They're also the idea. It's more like a book where you're putting the picture of them in your head versus what.
Yeah. But when you're in a hangout, you know that person. Nice. You know that person, right? And so I will never forget my very first hangout in real life was with Deanna Jackson.
Oh, cool.
And his very lovely lady. And we met at a buffet, and it was kind of awkward because it was right after Google Plus had started, and we
Okay.
hadn't been doing it very long. And
You
but
have a
within a couple minutes, it was just like, dude, we know each other.
and
We're
Deanna's
not.
great. I've hung out with him.
Gianno is great.
He's from Reno,
Yep,
so
he's from Reno, and he's very into the news
yeah, he's
thing.
into the sci-fi too, and he
Yeah.
does Geeks of the Round shout out, and he likes to
Hmm.
they do talk about television and other stuff like
Yeah,
that, Breaking
yeah.
Bad, and
And so Gianno and Aisha were great. They were my first hangout in real life, and I've done several since
Pearl.
then. And like I said, the one with you and Jane Ellen was absolutely awesome. We
Well, we
did
had a
a
lot of time
lot of
too.
stuff.
Yeah,
We did a lot of stuff, man.
we also had the time. You caught us at the end of after the rodeo was over,
Yeah,
so it was
yeah,
like all week. And the funny thing is, so the story was that Angie was away on business in Aruba, but
yes.
she's been there so many times where she's like, "Get me out of here! I've already done Aruba too much." And so we kind of, and then we actually sent the business cards to her.
Yep.
That Ashlyn was nice enough to make, which are awesome. And then we were like, "Get us the business cards!" So we got the business cards, we got it, and then all of a sudden, we were like, "Oh my God, we're not going to see Angie." And then I think I just G talked to her. Was like, "Hey, what are you doing now? Hey, let's make it." And we're like, "I'm not doing okay." Bada boom, and that's it. So
Yeah,
it's
because
been
I came
since
home
then.
and I think I took one day of downtime, and then the next day I was like, okay, where are you guys at?
And actually, I hurt my foot. I've been dying to go to LA for so
Oh.
long, and when I hurt my foot, it was bad on me to go to LA. But it was better that way that we could see you more
It
and
was I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, I'm just like I can't just drive down to go pick up Jane and Matt.
it's a longer drive. You hit her first, and probably when you drive to get me, you probably snatch. Well, I don't know if you'd be stuck in Nashville because I'm sure now I've never been there. I'm sure it's nice there, but we're
Oh
hoping
my
to do
gosh,
more
did
drives. And
I told you about that flight? I had a flight where I got stuck on a layover in Nashville, and I was actually kind of hoping that I would get stuck overnight just so I could go
see
stay with
Jane,
Jane. And Jane was like, I'll come get you, no problem. And
right?
turned out that the airline put me on a flight an hour later, so I didn't get to do that.
Damn you, airline. At least, yeah, and it's nice to be laying over in Nashville and not like Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But not that there's anything wrong with Ohio. I like you guys. Mike Stinger. Oh no, we just lost our Ohio affiliates. So, so cool. So we did the Red Rock. We got to do Coffee Bean, which I thought we had them out here, but I guess it's more West Coast Coffee Bean and tea and green tea leaf or whatever it's
Green,
called.
yeah, coffee bean and tea leaf,
Tea
and they
leaf
have awesome coffee, and they're much better
flavors.
than Starbucks.
Yeah, well, much sweeter, but yeah, very good. Red velvet, hot chocolate, dark chocolate,
Yes.
coffee, latte. And we actually got In and Out. There's a video of us at my first In and Out experience, which I wanted
Yes,
to go
and
last night.
that lady at In-N-Out was awesome,
She sang the song, which was really cool, and
and
the
she
video
gave
is
you
up.
hats and stickers,
I know,
and
like we were 10, which was awesome, which is what I wanted, which is what else can you expect from In and Out? And I really think it lived up to its hype. Everyone's like, In and Out, I like Five Guys better. I was like, no, this thing tastes amazing. Like the fries were just
and
so-so, but the burger
yeah, and the lady was just really cool. She tried to get her manager to sing the In-N-Out song, but she
yeah.
couldn't, and she was like, "My manager's being a weenie right now."
She was
So
all
I'll sing it
smiley and
for you.
happy.
And she was awesome.
We had fun there. Yeah, and then so we got to see more. Jane had her nails done in Vegas or fixed, and and there was rain in Vegas.
Just by the way, I want to throw a shout out to Rachel in Vegas. She's up in Red Rock, but she's the one that did Jane's nails, and she did them for free.
Great. So what can we? Is Rachel have any kind of website or social
I don't know,
media?
I need to find that out. I don't know if Rachel has a website, but I can't even remember the name of the salon.
You're
I
like, it's
suck.
the one near Dunkin' Donuts in the Red Rock, and they have New York pizza.
Yeah, it's up at Red Rock Canyon, pretty
So
much.
what's
But
the
Rachel is awesome, and she totally comped Jane, and
Oh, she's
and
great, and her
that was great.
daughter has a lot of
Ashley.
interest. No, Ashley, okay,
A lot of
she's
people
cool
know
too.
Ashley because she always drive-by bombs my hangouts.
Everyone out there knows the Ashmeister.
Yes.
So yeah, Vegas is good. Some of the things about Vegas that people maybe don't realize. I mean, people, I guess it's a desert, but I think when you go to Vegas, you're not like in the back of your mind, you're not thinking, you're like, I'm going to Vegas. In New York. When I was leaving that morning, everyone's like, oh, where you going? It's like, and all these women were like, oh my God, I really need to go to Vegas right now. Oh, you're so lucky you're going to Vegas. Da da da. I was like, okay, I was excited. But
Yeah.
Vegas is a desert. Vegas
Yes.
is in Nevada. I say Nevada, but it's really Nevada, right?
Nevada, yeah.
We say
But
Nevada,
it's high desert, which means it gets really cold, you know. In the wintertime it gets really cold.
which it
And
is.
sometimes even at night in the summertime, you know, we could
20s.
be 125 Celsius in the daytime and we could be 28 at night, you
You
know,
mean
because it's high
Fahrenheit,
desert.
right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fahrenheit. Did I say Celsius? Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
You would be dead. Probably, I don't know. But yeah, it was actually, there were days where it was warmer in New York City than it was in Vegas,
Yep.
which happens. And
And people don't realize how cold it gets here, I think.
yeah, they don't realize how cold it gets. They don't realize that, I mean, I know it's a desert, but I didn't even think about not drinking the water. I got to the Rio, which is where we were the first night, and I sat down in a cafe, and I left it. Somebody put me on a 6 o'clock flight, so I was there. It's pretty awesome to leave New York at 6 in the morning and then be in Vegas at 10 in the morning, Vegas time, and then you sit down and you're like, oh, I need coffee and water, and then not only
Yeah.
that, they cook all the food in the water. So with
The water is super chlorinated, and it's mostly because of jet fuel that we have in our water table.
Oh, that's why, because the airport's so
Yeah.
close, or
No,
what is
because
the
of all
jet
the
fuel?
military testing.
Oh,
So we have a lot of, I mean, they test positive for jet fuel all the time because of the
I'm
military
so
bases that
glad
are
that I
here.
drank some of that. That's nice. I'm so happy. That,
But
your
yeah,
opinion.
so
So wait, in your opinion, you've been to Mexico, right?
yeah.
Water safer to tap water safer in Mexico than Vegas?
No, honestly, well, you know what? I never got sick in Mexico. I got sick in Peru
Uh-huh.
from the water, but
We
I
need
never
to
got
we
sick.
need to make a post about all the places in the world, like India. I don't even know if Nita's watching. I don't like where
Don't
you
drink
shouldn't
from the
drink the water.
Ganges.
Don't do it. Yuck. Gross. But so I found that out pretty quickly because I drink the water. I was like, what does it taste? I was actually gonna say the water tastes like it's gross. Like, can I
Yeah,
have a different? And I didn't realize. And then when they brought the coffee, I was like, oh, okay.
yeah. In the
So,
summertime, it's even worse, Rappa, because for some reason they kick up the chlorine levels in the summer,
mm.
probably because the bacteria is more active.
Oh, really?
And
So
so
everybody's on antibiotics then in Vegas.
in this in the summertime, it literally smells like straight bleach.
Mm. That is exciting and new.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
another thing too is your skin gets dry and your
Yes.
lips get dry,
Yeah.
chappy. Not like winter chap where it's like really soft, but you get it a little bit and you're like, what is going on?
There's no humidity.
And then I wonder. So the thing about Vegas that I wonder is, people have played these shows. We met Taylor Hicks, great guy. People are playing these shows for all these months in Vegas. They must have humidifiers and bottled water, and they're pampered, but they must leave their room and go around and deal with it. I can't imagine. I mean, all these singers. Can you imagine that they have to live in
Their
Vegas
vocal
in the
cords,
dry?
yeah.
Yeah. So I would imagine after a while, like that would do some damage. That's why they get paid some of the millions of dollars. But
I'm sure it's very dry here, even in the wintertime. You know, the cold like sucks the moisture out of the air, and in the summertime it's way worse. It's like, you know, it's just really hot here and really dry, and we have no humidity, and that's why I like to visit the South.
and usually we complain about the humidity here. We're usually like, that's why people are like, oh, well, but it's a dry heat, which means
Yeah.
it's not as bad as humidity. But
See, but to me that doesn't carry weight because it's still
it doesn't carry
it's
water.
still hot. Sorry,
Like
I
it's
can't.
still.
I was trying.
That's
Yeah,
all
you
right. It's
asked me
still
not to
effing
curse.
hot. Whatever. People have effing cursed before on this show. You want to be the first. You won't be the last.
Okay,
You
well, I
know.
was trying really hard, man, because you know I have a potty mouth.
No, you're a party potty. You're good. So. Yeah, I mean, but don't get me wrong, Vegas is a lot of fun, and in fact, you know, I was going back and forth between like, you know, oh, I really love it, I want to stay longer too. Oh, you know, I've kind of been here long enough, but I
Yeah.
feel like I think like had we not done the rodeo and we had the whole 10 days like in the morning to afternoon free, that
Mhm.
those extra 10 days of all Vegas, I probably would have been Vegas out more. But I think because we were interviewing and going around and meeting all those
Working
people,
so hard, yeah.
been working so hard. So yeah, and
Well,
so then,
like I said though, Rappa, I really, a really awesome trip is Zion National Park. And next time you and Jane come out, if you have extra, we could do a day trip. It's just really amazing.
mhm. Yeah, no, it sounds great, and in fact, it's amazing. The cool thing about Google Plus, let me just tell everyone, not everyone knows,
The
but
cool thing about Google
one of the
Plus.
cool things. But when you're traveling, so when you travel everywhere you go, you're like, oh, I'm now at a place where there are people I probably know that I would not have known
Yes,
in a new
that's
city,
true. That
and
is extremely true.
and then something like Vegas, besides the people that live there, there are people on Google Plus flying in and out of there all the time,
Oh yeah.
like
That's
nonstop.
why I don't really use my local on my phone because
Uh-huh.
every post that I
Latitude,
see on local, no, because you can go local with your
uh-huh.
stream and every local post I see is I'm landing in Vegas, beaches,
You're
I'm
like,
landing in Vegas. I'm like,
everyone's like
okay,
Vegas, baby, Vegas, swingers.
right?
You have to blame John Favreau for that and Vince Vaughn because they were like Vegas, baby, Vegas. It's all
Yeah.
exciting. Um, but it is. I mean, I think that's the other thing too. One of the things that makes it special. One of the many is that you could do all these things in Vegas, like the gambling and the strippers, and if you want to do the tights and whatever else you want to do. There's all these different kind of things you can do. So,
And we
and
actually have like normal stuff like Targets, which we
Tarjay.
visit Target.
Either way, yeah, we went to the supermarket, and then there are a lot of Jews roaming the desert out there. You got the
There are
kosher
There are quite
section,
a few. Yeah.
which is cool.
We have a whole Jewish retirement community and the grocery store that's close to them. Rappa saw that. It has
Uh-huh.
a whole Jewish market section.
Did you ever go back to that little bakery that we saw since, or
I
no?
didn't, but I
No.
am intrigued by that.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't
So
that long
I
ago.
might,
Yeah.
yeah, I might do that. But Rappa, I think I'm probably gonna Rappa it up.
Oh, you're gonna wrap it up? I thought that was my job to wrap it up. We were getting there. Whoa, we were getting
But
there. Hey,
no,
I should really. You know what? I will get my. I did have a format. I have some closing stuff. Let me just bring
oh,
it up
okay,
real
do
quick,
your
and we'll do
closing
that.
stuff because we were only supposed to do 30 minutes and I think
Oh,
we've
how
done
long we've
way
done?
more than
Oh,
that. I
well, we
don't know.
have thousands of people watching. We don't want to disappoint. So
What?
what? That's
What is
crazy.
there like one person watching from Des Moines?
Why Des Moines? Why not Sioux City, Iowa?
Okay,
Well,
from Sioux City then.
either way. This was a G4 I did from Mark Rodriguez. It's a this or that, but it's probably good for you. There's no wrong answer. Just this or that. Which one you prefer, Spaceballs or History of the World Part 2?
History of the World Part 2.
HDR photos or black and white photos?
Black and white.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Ooh, that's
That's
hard.
impossible.
Um,
Which is your favorite Star Wars movie and which is your favorite Star Trek movie? How about that?
the first Star Wars movie is my favorite, of course.
Of
My
course.
favorite Star Trek one was The Wrath of Khan. Khan!
And the cool thing is, William Shatner, he actually will go into threads occasionally and
Yep.
have conversations with people here, which is
Yes, he
no
does.
one else does that.
He's like the Bill Murray of science fiction.
You know, that's funny. You put it that way. And Jerry Ryan, Will Wheaton, and George Takei, or well, at least Will Wheaton and Jerry Ryan post more, but none of them get into the conversations on Google Plus like he does, which I appreciate.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is
I
kind of cool.
appreciate that as well.
Do you have the next one is just like asking you about favorite mashups, but I was gonna say, do you have a favorite? Like, is William Shatner your favorite Star Trek actor? Or do you have one?
No, I would have to say Chekhov is my favorite.
Chekhov. Oh man,
Chekhov.
it's that yeah, he's good. Did you the young Chekhov? Do you like him, Anton?
Young Chekhov is who I like. Yeah, he's hot.
He's hot. He looks like he's 10 years old.
I
He's hot.
know. He's so cute.
Oh man. All right. And wrapping up, this is all G plus. What is your favorite part of G plus? A lot of people say Hangouts.
My favorite part of G Plus
Yeah.
is probably Hangouts. I mean, there's kind of a give and take there between. I mean, like we said, there's such a personal connection you make with someone when you hang out with them.
Yeah.
that I think that makes them very, very important and very, very different than any other type of. Sorry, my kids just came in.
Hey,
They're
kids!
being goofy. Um, I think it makes it really connects people in a way that
No! Angie froze, but I see Tim Clary is here trolling or watching. Hey, Tim. He says, Jeopardy question, what is something that I can never do? He probably is going to say, let the guest talk. But that is not true, Tim Clary. They talk a lot. They do. When they don't freeze, they talk. But we will do Conversations Plus afterwards. I think Angie's going to pop out. She's in mid-freeze, mid-pop-out. But it's been a great show so far. But not as much as Chekhov, yeah. We do like Shatter. They're both good. Yeah, he's a good guy. And I have to go to Zion too, not just the Matrix Zion, but the Zion. And there's also the Grand Canyon, which we didn't get to, which would be a lot of fun. Tim Clary, I have your art around here. I'm getting pinged. It's ping pong. Oh, it's Jane Ellen, and hey Jane, hope you're doing well. Not a shock. So while we're waiting for Angie to come back, I'm going to do a lot of H.I.R.Ls in 2013. I'm not sure about New York City H.I.R.L 3, when or what or how. It does take a lot of planning, but it is a lot of fun. I really want to do California, Vegas again. Hopefully me and Jay do a little tour around the country and see everybody. And I'm still getting pinged. Ping pong poom. And Angie is gone. Angie, come back! But Jane's going to bed. Everyone wish Jane a good night, sweet dreams. So, Hangout Conversations is a show to feature people. If you've never seen it, you're just tuning in. Feature people on Google Plus that are using Hangouts, that are using Google Plus, and they don't necessarily have to be an artist or a musician or an author or anything or a comedian. They can be anything. And Angie is an example of that. A great person, a lot of fun. And she was great. She was great to us. She took us around. She showed us some awesome sites and hotels and like we said, Hash House at Go-Go. We went to the Pinball Hall of Fame. This is a place. It looks like not a lot from the outside, but they have every game, and it's an arcade. It has old pinball, new pinball, middle pinball. It's got video game, every Super Mario Brothers. We had a lot of fun. In the Pinball Hall of Fame. You could be there all freaking day, for sure. And it's Friday, so the big weekend's coming up. And so do you have any plans? What are your plans for the weekend? Martin Luther King, I think it's a 3-day weekend, right? So you're going to get your Monday, too. So that would be a 3-day weekend if I do the math correctly, +1, +1, +1. Like I said, Daniel Fontaine from Boston next week. He's going to be talking about cars and his vegan cooking. He did Cooking with Larry Fournier, which we mentioned Stacey Frazier's episode, Tai Went On, Thai, because she loves Punday. I believe that's why she did that. She made a Dirty Mary and rotati bread? I don't know. Screwing it up! She made a nice little salad with some beets and blue cheese. So those were good times. The PLUStainment show is usually on Mondays, but we haven't gone into it. It's me and Jane. We're going to do an Oscar special. So next month, we'll get the Oscar special, and we'll talk a little bit about people wearing and the nominees, and who do you think should win the Oscar? A lot of people think Argo or Les Mis. A lot of people saying maybe Zero Dark 30 will jump in there. I don't really know. What was your favorite film of the year? And Vegas. If you've been to Vegas before, what are the things about Vegas you love? What don't you love? I personally like poker. I'm a poker player, and last time I sat down in Atlantic City, who finally got it, but it was all right. But this time I got to sit more, and not as much as I'd like. And it's different. You think you play online, you play at home, and you don't think about rules. But there are rules in Vegas, and it's like what your first motion is, and you have to say raise and all these little things, and you can't really talk about the hand. But it's a good time. And also Beatles, Cirque du Soleil. That is something we were dying to do that hopefully we'll get to do. And I'm not sure if Angie is coming back. That's what I'm waiting on. Hey, you coming back? But we'll wrap up. I'll open a Conversations Plus and invite everybody in to hang out and talk for sure. I'm going to just refresh here for a second. And thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm not screwing it up, but it's something that I always do. Tim Clary is a comedian. He's getting his drink on, I'm sure, and his pencil on. You should go check out his stuff, although not as good as Aaron Woods, you know. What? I kid. I mean, Cliff Roth. What? All these great artists, so many cool people on Google+. A lot of fun we have together. And, wow. Oh, New York City. Yeah, ping pong, ping ping. He'll be here in March. Pinball was, yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a place to check out. Definitely. Wicked Spoon in the Cosmopolitan, beautiful hotel. It was open just after I left the first time. I didn't know about it. And it's called Wicked Spoon. They have all the dishes. I mean, the food is pretty good, but the way it looks, the way it's prepared is really cool. They had ribs and fudge, and there is no way, unless you're like working out and walking around, we did that a little bit, there's no way you're not going to gain weight if you're eating all this food. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's a good time. So, Angie, I'd like to thank you for being my guest. I'm going to wrap things up, and thanks for checking us out. Hopefully, we're doing a shorter version of the show. To me, it's like 10 minutes, but we probably did an hour. I don't even know. So, like I said, Matt Rappaport plus Matthew Rappaport on Google+, google.com/plus Matthew Rappaport, and PLUStainment Show with plus Jane Ellen, as well as youtube.com/Hangout Conversations. We have Section 10 Media, section10media.com. We're working on that. We have the Twitter at Section 10 Media, New York actor Matt Rappaport, and the Jane Ellen. So check us out on Twitter if you want to see if we actually do something different than Google+, which we do. You know, there's a couple of things, a little bit. So check that out and have a wonderful evening, weekend. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Happy birthday to him and the great, amazing things that he did accomplish in his lifetime. Too short. And dear Abby, we're sorry that we lost her today. She offered a lot to a lot of people on a daily basis. So Matt Rappaport, sending love. Go +1 and go join a community of communities. Peace. Red Dragons.